workers, not capitalists. We are for education and housing, not prisons and police. We want love. We want community. We want creativity, and we want freedom.
If you have $1, stick it in somebody's envelope. The envelopes look like this. They got the pink on the front, or somebody's got a sign like this. Thank you very much for supporting the truckers.
Gates was being held down this morning by truckers who saw the flyer and decided to join us.
I think it's absolutely important that the Occupy movement is standing with the ILWU, which is the most radical sector of the organized labor movement. But I'm here also because I think we need a movement that is anti-racist, a movement that is feminist, a movement that is opposed to environmental violence, and one that stands up for food rights. And today this is an extremely important issue, a movement against homophobia, against transphobia. We have to understand how all of these issues are linked, are connected.
We're here in Oakland today to close down the ports for one day to make a statement about greed, to make a statement about the fact that we can't keep abusing our workers. We have to at some point turn the page.
I'm not standing for communication workers, which is my union, but we're standing in solidarity with the Longshoremen. And the Longshoremen have had issues with being pushed out of the port, which was always their union right to be here. And Goldman Sachs and EGT have taken over the port and have brought in workers that they're paying like 1/3 of the wages. And so the truckers are not Teamsters. A lot of them aren't Teamsters anymore. A lot of the dock workers are not Longshoremen anymore. And this all happened because of these two corporations in this port.
It's effective because nothing ever happened in this country or any country when you had 1% controlling all the wealth. Nothing ever happened unless there was all-out revolt and all-out disruption of the commerce. So people who say marching doesn't do any good, they need to really read their history. Susan B. Anthony, the women's right, the black rights, Rosa Parks, nothing ever happened until people got angry and got out and started fighting back. And that's what I see what's happening. We're defending ourselves.
I know I saw that.
The issues as we see them, and the reason we're at the port, is should we have fair trade or free trade? We think it ought to be fair trade. Where we used to have national corporations in this country that took pride in American products and the American people have now gone multinational. They now have all our products made overseas and shipped back, and we have nobody left to do the work here. All the products are made overseas and come back. Point being, you go to the store, you go to Penny, Sears, Macy's, see what you can find made in this country. You can't find anything made in this country anymore. The other issue down here is a misclassification of workers. The port drivers here are what you call owner-operators. Some own their trucks, some don't. They're controlled by the major shippers, the Wall Street people, and those people get paid by the load. However, because they're misclassified, they don't have workers' compensation, they don't have Social Security paid, they don't have benefits, and they make very little in wages.
When you talk about truckers getting hurt, you know, It's something that you could say because they're getting money taken out of their pocket today, but the organization that occurs through this kind of event is priceless. And if anything happens to these people in the future, if their jobs are threatened, if the whole economy takes a big dive, the network that we've set up today is going to be the same network that's used for years to come to organize workers and youth together and to show solidarity in between the different groups.
You notice you saw all these full-page ads about how the workers were opposed to it. The workers are not opposed to it. But the full-page ads, who paid for those? The Port of Oakland and the major corporations. That's why, because when you shut these ports down and the ships don't move and the containers sit, it costs them a fortune. It's a way to get the message out. Now, is there a sacrifice? Yeah, there's a sacrifice by the union workers and there's a sacrifice by the owner-operators. But every movement has sacrifices. And the issue is, are we right or are we wrong? We're right in this movement. That's why we support it.
The purpose of the port shutdown is to show capitalist America and all the imperialism that exists worldwide that you can no longer conduct business as usual. So we all know that capitalism and greed is what fuels the 1%. So if you hurt them where their pockets and where all their everything exists, then you make them see us as being a very positive and very powerful movement. And EGT, the grain company, Monsanto, they all have to be held accountable.
Mic check! Mic check! Mic check! We decided at the General Assembly that we would continue the blockade if there was police action at other occupations on the West Coast.
As far as what I've heard, I heard that Seattle ran into some police repression, possibly involving tear gas, which basically, you know, creates a necessity for us to discuss tonight whether or not we extend the blockades, because we said in no uncertain terms if there is police repression in any of the port shutdowns, we will extend the blockades as a reaction to that. And so right now we're here, you know, to discuss that based on reports that we had that there have been police repression in different port shutdowns. So we're here to figure out whether we're going to put our money where our mouth is and extend this blockade.